This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today I want to talk a little bit about, well, I think it might have even been yesterday's podcast. I talked about the heavy sadness, so to speak, based off the conversation that I posted around that we aren't sadness. I am not sad. I'm experiencing sadness, right? So there's this quote that I've seen numerous times, and it says, I believe depression is legitimate, but I also believe if you don't exercise, eat nutritious food, get sunlight, get enough sleep, consume positive material, and surround yourself with support, then you aren't giving yourself a fighting chance. Now, this is really crucial, and this is a really touchy subject for a lot of people because sometimes we act like there's just nothing we can do. And now, I understand, and I'm just framing this again, like, every single person's case is similar but fucking different. So this isn't global advice for everyone. However, it's worth taking this information and using it as a checklist. It's like, am I meeting these standards? Am I giving myself the best opportunity to move through these difficulties, right? Now, I've discussed at length one of the models that we use called integral theory. Integral theory looks at basically, in the short, it looks at the four areas that include basically everything. The individual subjective, so our mind, our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts, everything that's subjective and individual to me. Then it's the collective subjective, which is culture, community, support, all the things that sort of subjective for a group of people or for maybe a space that's collective and things that, once again, we can't put in a wheelbarrow is one way to think about it. You can't point at it. And so values or shared values, that kind of stuff can be a part of that. So the way to think about those two is simply like, what are my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and what's the support, the community, the culture, the shared values, the shared integrity? What is that like within a certain space, whether it be work, the gym, sporting teams, home life, whatever it may be, right? There's first two, so that's upper left and lower left, it's called, or first quadrant and second quadrant. Third quadrant is individual objective. That's my body, my physical being, my physical body, my skills, my behaviors, my organs, muscles, physical body, everything that's individually objective for me. So that would be known as third quadrant. Fourth quadrant is collective objective. And so in the collective objective, we start to look at what's the things that make up what's actually known as a functional fit. For example, we think about the gym, it's all the equipment, it's all the other bodies, right? It's all of the car parking, the location, all that sort of stuff that's physical. What's the behaviors of everyone in that sort of space? This is how we behave, right? If it's home life, then it's the same thing, and work is the same thing as well. So this are four quadrants. Now, often what happens is that we become reductionists in the way that we look at things. So we may lean strongly into particular types or a particular quadrant, and because of that, we end up ignoring a lot of the other quadrants. One of the most powerful things that this quote is pointing at, it's really covering a lot of them, right? For most people, depression is felt. However, it's often, the sadness is often a meta state. And what that means, it's a state about a state. It's like, I feel sad and that makes me sad. And then I'm also anxious that other people think that I'm sad, and then I'm shamed about feeling anxious about my sadness, right? Now my shame, that's like a deep shame, right, that I don't really know what's going on, I just feel sad, but the deep shame is actually not even about anything objective. It's nothing out there in the real world, it's all in my thoughts. And so my sadness about my sadness, and my anxiousness about my sadness of my sadness, and then my own shamefulness, I'm shaming myself about how I shouldn't be anxious about my sadness about my sadness. And that's called a meta state, right? And these things, the reason why it's called meta is because it's above and about. And so the first sadness is about something in the real world. Something happens and somebody, says something to me that's mean, and I feel sad about that. And then I feel sad about feeling sad. And then I get anxious that people might think that I care a lot about what they think, which I do, but I don't want them to think that. And then I get anxious about being sad about my sad. And then you see how it can go from there. And so what ends up happening is they end up doing this really, 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 really well. And so this is a thought. This is an individual subjective area for most people. And then it manifests itself in the body and other things go on as well. But this is why it's beautiful here. It goes, I also believe, and belief is a thought, by the way, if you don't exercise, so that's paying attention to your physical body. Hey, so quadrant 3, eat nutritious food. Now, nutritious food is going to be in quadrant 4 because it's looking at the collective objective components to what we're actually putting in our body. Get sunlight, which is going to be individual objective. Get enough sleep. Can't speak about sleep enough, really. I should actually speak about it way more, but getting enough sleep is so goddamn crucial, right? And so that's going to be objective as well. Now, the thing about it, that's going to have a heavy impact on your individual subjective, so your thoughts, emotions, and everything. Consume positive material. This is the reason why I have this podcast. I used to listen to podcasts or YouTube clips and motivational clips in the morning when I was going through a really challenging time in my life, so I could at least consume something positive every single day, first thing, so that I could try and just be on top of my negative thoughts about my negative thoughts at that stage of my life. And so consuming positive material is really crucial, and that's going to be individual subjective. Surround yourself with support. That's going to be the individual, the collective subjective, right? But it also means who are you going to surround yourself with, which is also going to be the collective objective. They're really pointing at all areas here. It's an integral approach to the depression, which is, as this person's pointing out, legitimate. So to give yourself a fighting chance, it's so worth paying attention to all of these areas where, it's like, okay, I might feel this and I'm not going to shame myself for feeling a particular way. What can I do? Like, what am I missing? What am I missing right now that could help me really take control and of my life, really, but take control of how I'm feeling, how I'm thinking, and so forth. And so more often than not, getting the fuck out of the box, and it can be the hardest thing, but getting outside, it's so crucial. It's giving the human body a chance to be a human body. We're not designed to be inside. I had a chat with a good mate of mine today, and we went training, and he's like, I feel, he's just getting back into it. And he goes, I feel so good. I can feel my lungs expanding. And I'm like, well, it's because your body is designed to move, not necessarily exercise. I don't think that's the right term, but it's designed to move. It's still designed to sprint, jump, run, laugh. That's for damn sure. It's designed to cry. It's designed to throw things, pick things up, walk with things, all this sort of stuff. And when we ignore that natural urge of the body, right, we ignore its reason for it to be here. And this is why it's so crucial to realize we're not a body, right? We get caught up identifying as a body, but we're not a body. We have a body. And like a dog, if I have a dog, it's important that I exercise a dog because the dog is designed to be run, to play, to do all those sorts of things. But I get confused thinking that I'm a body and I don't feel like it. So if I don't feel like it, the body mustn't. The body wants to, right? You're not a fucking body. You have a body and you should exercise it. It's the same way you think about the dog. Exactly the same thing. You've been gifted this body. And this is why I'm like, you're not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are the witness. You are there's a thought, and there's the thing that hears the thought going on in your mind, and then there's the thing that's observing both the thought and the other thing that hears it. Right? Call it conscience, call it whatever you want. But that's you. It's a witness. It's the observer. That's who you are. And there's all that's there is truth. There's no construct. There's no lies. There's nothing. All it is truth. Non-judgmental, right? But we get caught up as our body. We're living in a material time, and our material, physical, objective body, we end up confusing ourselves as it. And then we go, I don't feel like it. It's like, that's really fucking different. Your body is designed to get outside and exercise. So either way, look, guys, I really hope that you got something out of this and understanding that it really is taking an integral approach to all of these things that allows us to take control of our life. It's not just going, I'm not saying drugs don't have a role. I used to probably be more on the line of going, I wouldn't trust that or whatever. But nowadays I'm like, no, I think pharmaceuticals have a place to play. Whether they're probably playing more than they should is probably another conversation, and to what rate. But if it's going to help 5% of people hypothetically go from a state of like completely helplessness to go, no, I'm ready to get help, then how would that not be beneficial? So either way, by the way, that would fit into quadrant 4, which would be a functional fit. It'd be the collective objective. So Either way. Team, any questions? I'd love to hear them. Jump on Mood Prep Community on Facebook. Now, I still have a couple of early bird tickets available for the Mood Prep Intensive Seminar coming up on the 21st and 22nd of September in Sydney, Northern Beaches at Brookvale. If you're interested in coming along, I'd love to see you there. We have 2-for-1 tickets. You should totally jump on there. We're going to go through a heap of developmental models from the Enneagram. We're going to go through integral theory that I just spoke about here. We're going to go through what's called meta programs, the thinking patterns, among many other things. And I'd love to see you there. But anyway, team, that's me done. If you found this podcast beneficial, I should call races, hey. If you found this podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me if you'd pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial, especially something on this type of subject as well. Otherwise, team, I'm done. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza, kick today in the dick, and slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.